Good morning, everyone. I'm Warit Ahmed.
And I'm Abdul Majid.
And it is the 17th of February today. It's a Monday. It's the beginning of the week. You know, there's big stuff happening this week. We have Step Dubai that's happening on the 19th and 20th. How are you feeling, Majid? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Working again. It's been a very busy month. We've talked about it multiple times. There's like 100 million events happening.
Yeah, because Ramadan is happening.
Yeah, right now in ADNEC, there's IDEX also going on, International Defense Exhibition. So there's like 80-something countries which are flying in, and they'll be showcasing all their defense, whatever they can, tanks, airplanes, defense capabilities, radar systems. It's a very big exhibition.
There's also Gulf food happening.
Yeah, Gulf food also started.
Yeah.
But Gulf food is like, it's a very big event. I always am interested in Gulf food, not because it's one of the biggest food, how do you say it? For example, if I need a certain ingredient, you're an exhibitor, they sign deals among them. But the interesting thing for me is when you go there, you see so much stuff that you haven't seen. Like you go to Global Village, you go to the Yemen or these places, you'll see so many spices that you've never seen before. So likewise, Gulf food has so many things. So that's the interesting part for me. Yeah, but Gulf food is happening. There's so much happening. That's the main idea about it, that there's events happening. But we'll be at STEP conference.
Yes.
STEP is a very Dubai-based, a very Dubai-originated event.
It's all about startups.
Yeah,
it's all about startups.
One of the judges of Shark Tank Dubai, Eli Khouri, he's going to be there. So we'll most probably catch him and do an interview for you. We'll be there 2 days. So if you're listening and if you want to catch up and if you want
and if you guys want to meet us, if you guys want to meet us.
We'll be there for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, come. We have a booth. Come join us for tea, coffee, whatever you think.
Do come and join us. And now just to round up all the topics that we're going to be telling you guys about today. Firstly, so Sarah Hamouda, the founder of the Dubai Viral Chocolate, so her brand is Fixed Chocolate. She has met His Highness Sheikh Hamdan at the World Government Summit that recently just concluded. Secondly, Syria has received currency shipment from Russia, and it's really interesting to see how this all occurred. And finally, Elon Musk's xAI is looking to lead a $10 billion funding round, and they're looking to lead it through gaining more investments from the Middle East.
Yeah.
So we have a really interesting roundup here, and just for the first one, I know that we keep circling back to this topic, but honestly, it's so monumental. It's so great. Like, I just keep getting impressed every single day. Sarah Hamouda, she founded Fixed Chocolate in 2021. All right, and the reason why she actually founded it, and this is what she told many news agencies, it's because of pregnancy cravings. So when she was pregnant, she would crave chocolate with pistachio and kunafa, and she would make it. But then she actually turned it into such a successful business. Like even just recently, they launched a new flavor, Catch Me If I Pecan. Yeah, they launched a new flavor there. And the big story here is the fact that she met His Highness Sheikh Hamdan.
Finally.
Finally, exactly. No,
That's the most
you're
interesting
so right.
part. Finally, they've met.
And they even actually had a collaboration together where Sheikh Hamdan actually, really interesting noise up there. I don't know where that's coming from, but anyways.
Side office.
So basically. We're so sorry, guys. Basically, Sheikh Hamdan, he requested from Hamouda to create a very specific halwa Emirati flavor, and this is not one of the chocolate bars that they sell, by the way. It's very exclusive, and only Sheikh Hamdan has access to it. And by the way, I feel like it's exclusive to the local community, because I remember when I was on TikTok and I was scrolling, there are certain like Emirati girls with aesthetic TikTok accounts, Majid, and they have the chocolate, the Emirati halwa chocolate, the Fixed X Fazza, they have it. And so it's interesting because you can't buy it, but all these people in the local community, they have access to it. So this was definitely a big moment for Hamouda, and let me tell you guys what she had to say.
Recently they were there at, what was the event? Davos.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah, they were at Davos
Distributing
and they were
it for free.
for
I wish I
free.
was in Davos to get some of it, a lot of it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
basically, what's it called? This is what Hamouda had to say about everything. Dubai has given us the space to dream. Meeting His Highness Sheikh Hamdan is an incredible honor, one that reaffirms our passion for innovation and bringing something truly special to life. And by the way, can I tell you something about the UAE? When a royal likes something, you know it's good.
Yeah.
You know it's good because they don't support anything. They don't support anything. So when they support a specific brand, you know that there is a certain quality. A certain quality to it,
Attached
and
to
I've
it,
seen this in so many brands, Majid. I remember I went to this restaurant. It's amazing. You should go. It's called Kinoya, and it has a Michelin star. And I'm pretty sure there's like a photo of Sheikh Hamdan there, and he loved it too. And then another place like Limited Cafe, the one in Al Qudra, Sheikh Mohammed is always visiting it. And let me tell you a really interesting story, by the way, about that area. So it's there's a bunch of cafes there, by the way. There's Hidden, there's Limited, there are another few, but I forgot their names. And all the lakes there, they're all artificial lakes that were created by Sheikh Mohammed. So
nice.
he is the directive behind the entire project. And I remember when I was speaking to the owner of Limited Cafe, her name is Maryam, she's a really lovely human. I was telling her, I was like, is this seriously Sheikh Mohammed's favorite cafe? And she told me that he literally drives here alone. That's how much he loves it, and he's there all the time. So you know that when a royal loves something, you know that it's so good. And even home bakery, Hind al Mullah, you know, she spoke about how His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, you know, supported her entire business. So that's really beautiful
I think
to see there.
Fix Desert got a royal stamp of approval.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
they got
it
it
definitely
when
did.
he shared the specialized flavor which was made for him. And now he's finally met him. And he also put up a story. Usually we see Fazza posting stories of him going to the gym or with kids.
Yeah.
He also posted this picture and said, founder of Fix Desert, Sarah
And if you know
Moda.
his stories, he
Yeah.
doesn't post that much. It's like
Yeah.
it's just a couple of stories of him like running every single day.
But the fact that, to be honest, what I love about the rulers of not only Dubai, Abu Dhabi, etc. as well,
Yeah.
but usually Dubai rulers, His Highness, the ruler of Dubai, and obviously His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, all of these guys, they always make sure that if something is gaining traction, they go and try to visit and maybe give it the push that it needs, a royal push, to be honest. And it's good because they just don't want to promote Dubai for investments, for setting up offices, for the ease of doing business.
Dubai viral chocolate.
Yeah. Everyone knows that Dubai is the perfect place right now in the world, or UAE as a whole and Middle East as a whole, do business. But they also want to promote the cultural aspect of it. They just don't want them to be like, okay, this is a country or a city. Come here, invest money, make money. That's it. They don't want to do that. They want to give it a cultural identity. And Dubai has a very, it's a very funny thing that they're famous for Kadak, which is not Dubai's, but Dubai somehow has owned it. So for
They're
chocolate
famous
even.
for a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy, and I feel like
So they've mixed a lot
Yeah.
of cultural things
I agree
and
with you.
created a very specific identity for themselves.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think something that a privilege that we have from living in the UAE, it's the fact that whatever kind of person that you are, you can go to a location that accommodates
Yeah.
for you. Like, you know, I'll go to specific locations, Majid, and it's all Asians there. Or like I'll go somewhere and it's
Yeah.
all Arabs there. Or I'll go somewhere and it's all like Europeans there. It really like depends on taste and you know, this is something that I just remembered. You know, the Budapest hotel that Al Habtour, Khalaf Al Habtour, opened. By the way, you know that the entire menu is like Arabic food?
Nice.
The entire menu in the new Budapest hotel that was just recently opened, it's all Arabic food. And it's like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of, accommodating that I'm talking about. They're not just doing it, in the country, but also outside of the country. So I think for me, for this year, not this year specifically, last year, I think F&B here, it's such a big hit. And Majid, people are noticing it, by the way. Even when I was talking to Brookie Bakehouse, so basically Brooke, the founder of Brookie, which is really famous in Australia, the TikToks became like, I mean, not the TikTok. So basically, her day in the lives video on TikTok, they went really famous and people fell in love with her cookies. But I was talking to her, and you know what she said to me? She said that I was actually previously a travel vlogger and that I would travel everywhere. And I came to the Middle East and I came to the UAE, and I noticed that there's this culture of like tea and desserts. They just really love it. They love food. And that's why she's actually bringing Brookie Bakehouse to the UAE. And that's her first expansion outside of Australia. So I think you're right. I think the culture here, it's really interesting. But much more than that, just back to, the Dubai viral chocolate, I don't think it's going to be a trend anymore, Majid. I think she's fully developed a new food group and we all just have to accept it, even if some of us don't like pistachio. And I think that's what it really is. Moving on.
It's nice to see that you finally met him.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's just that happiness that those two people are finally together, shaking hands, posing together.
And it's crazy because they've had so many collaborations. So the fact that they finally get to meet, I'm really happy for her. Transitioning to our second topic of the day. So Syria's central bank confirmed a shipment of newly arrived Syrian banknotes at Damascus airport all the way from Russia. Now, the money was printed in Russia under the rule of the ousted President Bashar al-Assad, but was never shipped before his downfall in December 2024. Now, a source has told Reuters that the shipment amounted to hundreds of billions of Syrian pounds, equivalent to tens of millions of US dollars. Now, the new Syrian leadership had initially halted further currency printing to curb inflation. Now, when we're taking a look at this, I really can't tell, Majid. Is it great? Or is it bad news?
See, them getting money is always a good news, but we have to realize that whenever you print new money, inflation rises and your currency comparison to the main currency, which is the US dollar, international US dollar, that inflates, it becomes bigger. The distance between your 1 rupee and their 1 rupee becomes bigger. But it's good sign that at least they got some cash flow. Because I remember when this all thing happened, in the first 2-3 days, everyone covered them. And a lot of people were talking about the economy. The main thing that everyone was focusing on, that how are people buying stuff? And I remember Reuters reported this also, that in Damascus itself, only like 2 or 3 ATMs were working, and even they were running out of cash soon. So the whole story, if you look at it in the chronological order, since the downfall of Bashar al-Assad, Syria is facing a lot of problem in cash flow. They announced, you remember, 400% increase in government employees' salary. Qatar jumped in. That's the good part about Qatar, that they've supported the Syrian cause since the start. Since even when Bashar al-Assad was there, they were supporting the Syrian cause.
So basically, Qatar is going to pay all the government employees.
They were like, we'll bankroll the 400% increase. We'll bankroll a lot of things, like the recovery period. Qatar is like the main hero behind it, the protagonist that we always talk about. They're the main protagonist. And then moving on, I'm just giving you an overview of whatever happened, which led up to this point. Dubai Chamber of Commerce, Damascus Chambers of Commerce, which is the main chamber of commerce in Syria. The head of that again told, it was a interview with Reuters again. Reuters has been very active in Syria. That's the good part. He told them that we're moving away from all the closed economy that they had in the Bashar al-Assad, and they're going for a free market structure. A free market is simple, that we'll do trade with everyone. Now, Syria already has a lot of sanctions on them. That's the problem for Syria. European nations, Germany was the first one that said that they're going to ease some of the sanctions. France then jumped in. They were like, we'll also ease some of that. So some of it means that on medicine and basic food supplies, they'll ease all the restrictions and sanctions. So food can start flowing in, medicines can start flowing in, and at a very good rate, not the sanctioned rate,
Majid,
which is very expensive.
You mentioned a really interesting point about, how how difficult it is for people there to obtain money, even as simply as, just take it out of an ATM. And it is actually...
Just to buy bread, basic bread,
It's
eggs,
actually completely true, because I spoke to this business owner. She's Syrian, and she's based here. She has this translation company. It's called Ta'arib. And she was telling me, she was like, where do you know how difficult it is for me to transfer money to my translators who live all the way in Syria? Because at some point, she lived in Syria 3 years ago, and then she immigrated here. And, she told me that I'll try and transfer them money, but, it's just completely difficult for me to actually get it to them and sometimes it's actually even difficult for them to do the work. Like, basically news agencies, they come to her and they're like, hey, can you help us translate this? News agencies who can afford to do that, they don't operate the way that we do. I don't know if you guys know this, but basically with like digital media, I don't feel that there is that time to wait on something. It's like every 1 hour, 30 minutes, you're going to get a story out. But anyways, that's beside the point. But she said that, a news agency will ask her, can we have your translator on standby for 24 hours? And she told me, how is it possible for me to explain to them that they live in Syria? It's hard to identify when the electricity is going to be cut, when they're going to have internet, and so I think the issue there, it's really dire, and but I am glad to see that they are progressing in the sense of that. I remember just recently, the financial minister for Syria, she was a woman. So I know that they're making advancements.
She's the governor of central bank,
Yeah.
So she was the deputy governor. The funny thing is, she's one of the people who survived the Bashar al-Assad regime change. She was the deputy governor, and then when the Shara government took over, the rebels, which were called rebels, and now they're being called the freedom fighters, they took over. They kept him, and this is one of the very good signs, again, as you talked about, that a woman leading one of their main arteries, which will be responsible for the economic recovery. Economic recovery is very important right now. You remember we talked about it. Syria or any other country which goes through such a turbulent period, they always need to recover economically, and then they can do whatever they want.
And
they can rebuild.
Yeah, and I think especially somewhere like, Syria, Majid, I've spoken a lot to a lot of Syrians, and they told me that how you were affected by Bashar al-Assad's regime actually really depended on where your family was from and where you actually lived from. So if you lived in an area where it was not really that touched by what was going on, you weren't that affected. It all depended on the area that you lived in. It was honestly, I would call it luck. It depended on where you were from. So I feel that in different areas in Syria, different people go through different things. However, in the end of the day, it's really good that they're making progress, that they're looking to develop a free market. Yes, this was something that they announced, that they want to develop a free market, which is absolutely great, by the way. Do you know how many countries it takes a long time for them to realize that, hey, we need a free market here? We can't just be reliant on, Qatar bankrolling our salaries. We need to also find a solution for ourselves where at some point we're self-sustainable. And I think that the fact that Syria, they already have this in mind that, at some point we need to self-finance ourselves and have our own booming market. I think that's something completely great. And, just speaking of Middle Eastern funding in general, Qatar helping Syria, this is not really the first time where all of these Middle Eastern investors have stepped in. They don't just step in for conflicts. They also step in for AI, which we're seeing a lot of people are doing nowadays. So Elon Musk's xAI is actually eyeing a $10 billion funding round, and they're looking to be backed by Middle Eastern investors. So this is all according to Bloomberg News. Existing investors that they actually have include Sequoia Capital, Anderson Horowitz, and Valor Equity Partners. And this funding actually followed xAI's $6 billion round, which previously boosted its evaluation to $50 billion. Now, let me tell you, how do Middle Eastern investors here actually play a role? So Saudi Arabia's Kingdom Holding, which was founded by Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, actually invested $400 million in xAI. And Qatar Investment Authority and Oman Investment Authority, they also hold stakes in this. And Abu Dhabi's MGX actually participated in an early round. And if you know about OpenAI's $400 billion Stargate project, Abu Dhabi's MGX is actually also participating in that. So, and you know, when I'm taking a look at this, Majid, I completely understand why President Trump would come in and say that, you know, we need an American sovereign wealth fund. Because when we're taking a look at this, we're seeing the power of these sovereign wealth funds and how they're a part of such big projects in the world. They're a part of such big change. And, you know, Majid, this is something that makes me so proud because of the fact that, you know, now what we can see is that in the Middle East, you know, young Arab kids, just young people, a part of this region, they can be a part of the AI world, and it's a successful world. Because I remember even, you know, when I was a kid, and you know, someone would be like, you know, you should go after AI, you should go after tech. People would always mention that it's more advanced in the Western world, but you know, we have it all right here. But you know what the way I think about it is, by the way, these sovereign wealth funds, they are honestly such silent shooters. They really are. You don't know what they're doing unless you actually go after it. So it's going to be interesting to see that. What do you think about it?
Today, Elon Musk is launching Grok 3. So that's the big news. I think in UAE time, it's around evening usually. He has funding from everyone nearly in the Middle East. The interesting thing is that OpenAI also has investment from everyone in the Middle East. So it's kind of, I think it's kind of like a tug of war that is going on between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. We saw in the last week that they were pulling each other's leg. Elon Musk said 100 billion, give me OpenAI. Sam Altman said sorry. Then this was like happening over reports. And then eventually, yesterday I saw a report by AP that their board has finally disapproved it. So their board is non-profit for now. So their board decides right now if they'll sell OpenAI or not. Sam Altman doesn't, thankfully. So the board rejected the bid. That was 97.8. It's not exactly 100 billion. But Sam Altman said, sorry, I'll buy Twitter for 9.78 billion. So it was a very funny thing going on. In Paris AI Summit, Sam Altman was asked by multiple people, what do you think about the offer that Elon Musk made? And he said he's insecure, he's this, he's that. So after all of that fight, what I actually see and what now it's becoming clear, it's the fight for the money. It's not the fight for a better AI, it's the fight for the money that you need to make a better AI. So Elon Musk's xAI, I remember the last time I read the technicalities, it's very simple that he needs to build a lot of data centers. So Grok's processing power and Grok's basic foundation of data that it has can increase. So Grok 3, they've experimented with it at the World Government Summit. On Thursday when he gave his talk, he was talking to His Excellency Omar Al-Ulama, the Minister of AI. He said that Grok 3, according to him, what he's seen, has outperformed everything that is right now available. That is Perplexity, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Claude by Anthropic. So apparently, whatever we see today in the evening, in UAE time, in US time in the morning, is going to be exceptional. And to be honest, I've used Grok a lot. It's available on X if you are a paid person. And even if you're not, you get some free credits to use it. So Grok, the good thing about it is you don't need to, for example, in ChatGPT, you need to go to Sora for video creation. For image creation, you need DALL-E. Then for text, you have ChatGPT. In Grok, you just have a tab which says, ask anything. So you ask anything. You ask it to make a picture, it'll make a picture. You ask it to write something for you, it'll do it for you. So that way, I think, and it's also incorporated into X. So you don't have to like open a new window. You just go to X, go to the Grok tab on your left on your desktop, and just and also on your phone, you can just click Grok and ask anything.
But
so
you
it's
know,
incorporated into X.
with ChatGPT, I think they're really lucky because I feel like in life with anything, if you're the first person to start
Yeah.
something,
The
it's
first mover
always going to be
advantage is always great.
you're always going to be
Yeah.
successful, you know, because of the bond that me and ChatGPT have. How could I ever replace her? You know, how could I ever move on?
Yeah.
I don't think I can. And you know, I saw how DeepSeek, it rose to the #1 app in the UAE Apple Store, and
Yeah.
and you know, I'm seeing Grok, I'm seeing all of these new AI, Replit. You know, we're seeing Replit. So basically, Replit is by this Jordanian entrepreneur in America known as Amjad Masad, and you can literally use Replit to create anything that you want,
Yeah.
not just any software,
yeah.
quite literally anything that you want, answer anything that you want. And guess what, Majid? I'm not going to be using it. I am so no,
Everyone
I'm truly
is addicted to ChatGPT. That's the idea.
and I think by the way, if you know what I learned about AI, it's that okay, say you're using any form of AI and you're like because this is the way that I use it. I write something very quickly in the way that I would say it in my format, and then I'll say, fix grammar and fix whatever. At some point, by the way, you know that the AI itself actually memorizes the way that you talk, the words that you use, even like everything, absolutely everything.
No, ChatGPT has a memory option. No? So whatever
Yeah.
you do, if you give it specific instructions, it'll add it to its memory. And the next time you say something near to that, it'll pull that idea from its memory. You can delete all the memories also. I usually delete them because it starts giving you the same thing in the same format. So every time you have to write a prompt for it that please do this, not the thing that's saved in your memory. So that's a good part about it. They've added tasks to it as well. I think not everyone uses everything that ChatGPT has to offer, but you're right. The first mover advantage, people used to say Google it, now everyone says ChatGPT.
Exactly, and
so
that's
they've
why
actually changed the lingo, and whenever something comes and changes the language around what purpose it serves, then you realize that thing. You'll never say Grok it. You'll never say. Trust me. Even after 10 years, you have like the best version of Grok. People will still, to be
even
honest,
by
say
the way,
ChatGPT.
when I hear these names like
Yeah.
xAI, it does not ring the
Yeah.
same to me as OpenAI does. They definitely have that first mover advantage. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production under the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Please follow our newsletter on Smashi TV and see you tomorrow.